What's going on, everybody? Deacon here, and if you haven't seen the last video, I'll leave a link in the description where you can watch that video and get caught up. Basically, me talking about how I got back into all this drama and watching this nonsense all over again. But in this particular video, I'm going to focus on my experience and what I witnessed with the Black Manosphere and with the Red Pill community. After maturing, growing, and focusing on what's important, like my family, my interest peaked again in 2020 when the popularity of the Black Manosphere, particularly the Red Pill section, started growing. Now, I knew about certain spaces and content creators like O'Shea Duke Jackson, who I still see his videos from time to time, The Angry Man, and Tommy Sotomayor during the drama I witnessed years ago against the Pink Pill movement, and a few other ladies on the platform as well. However, this time around, the Red Pill caught my attention because the very information sounded familiar to something I was exposed to when I was younger. Unlike others, I didn't watch a lot of Kevin Samuels because I'm not really his target audience, but whenever I did watch his content, I made sure that I watched the entire live streams, whether it was 2 or 3 hours long, so I could see things and hear things in its proper context instead of just taking snippets like a lot of people do and then make at least 10 videos to take advantage of what I called last year the Kevin Samuels stimulus package. Instead, I found myself mainly watching channels like MTR, The Poor Man's Podcast, and most recently, Cheesa Zed. And I hope I said your name right, brother, if you happen to watch this video. But those are the guys who subscribe to the Red Pill philosophy, whose channels that I watched and I deep dived more so into, because out of most of the content creators I ran across, at least with those 3 guys, it sounded more rational than others. But I'll get more into that a little bit later. Now, while watching this content, I've learned that there are many different definitions and pillars to the Red Pill depending on what drew you into this philosophy. Without me trying to oversimplify the Red Pill too much, it's primarily stressing the importance of being the best man you can be, focusing more on your goals and less attention to distractions, embracing your masculinity, being assertive, taking accountability for your actions, and not being a simp. Because by completing said goals, people, places, and things become an asset to your life instead of it being what defines it. That was the good part. Then you have what's called the Red Pill rage. The best way I can explain it is that the wool has been removed from a man's eyes, the rose-colored glasses have come off, and he has come to the realization that his value isn't based on unconditional love, but solely on what he can provide and or produce. Basically, everything that was told to him as a young man has been revealed as one big lie, especially when it comes to women. It reminds me of the time when I was around 7 or 8 years old. Sometimes on Friday or Saturday night, my dad along with his friends would sit in the car drinking while talking about their life experiences for hours. And let me tell you, for a 7 or 8 year old kid, that sucked. Imagine sitting in a car with 3 men, one that was married, one that was divorced, my father, and one with a baby mama. Of course you know that their experiences with women was always one of those topics being discussed. Oddly enough, a lot of the things that I heard then that I really didn't understand are being echoed by the Red Pill space today. I won't get into everything I heard, but 2 major ones are the lack of accountability and unrealistic standards for a mate. Now, there's probably someone typing, "Men do the same thing." Listen, I'm talking about my experiences with the Manosphere and the Red Pill. Trust me, we will address other things in the next video, but for now, I need you to stay focused. Of course, a lot of other things are discussed, but the emphasis on the female nature tends to be the topic of choice for the majority of the time. Now, bear with me because I struggled with how I was going to present this next point from what I observed from the Red Pill community as diplomatically as possible. But I couldn't, so I'm just going to spit it out. You have a lot of guys who learned either by experience or by witnessing from others that trying to be a traditionally good man or a gentleman with today's modern woman doesn't work. Therefore, men are either showing others how to properly vet women, which they should have been doing anyway, or showing why it would be best to just leave them alone altogether. When it comes to the Black men in the Red Pill space, it's even more intriguing to me because I noticed many of them grew up in single-parent households raised by their mothers. Why is that significant? Because out of the 5 types of men I typically see online in this space, your trolls, your incels, The men who hate women, yes, they are there, and they're typically mentioned as the guys who are stuck in the red pill rage. Number 4, who are your most common, your good men who experienced hurt or saw the hurt of another good man by the court system or just done dirty in general. And then finally, this 5th man. Question: have you ever heard someone check a black man who was talking reckless about black women by saying, "Don't you have a black mother, sister, aunt, cousin? How can you talk so recklessly about black women?" Well, apparently this 5th man found out that the very woman or women that he holds near and dear share the same characteristics as the women he criticizes. The woman who was presented as a queen who could do no wrong, he discovers that she is only known as a concubine to the rest of the kingdom. That woman who he criticized for only wanting Pookie, Ray Ray, Tyrone, Tech Nine Terry, and Walmart Tavius, who he stated she belongs to the streets, turned out to be either his mother, sister, aunt, cousin, or all of the above. Meaning, if the black women who he holds near and dear to his heart have this type of nature or behavior, then how will other women who look like them stand a chance? Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you what I observed from their own admission. If you're able to sift through some of this nonsense on a Red Pill content creator's comment section, you will see what I'm talking about. Like I said, this is stuff that these guys are saying. This is not something I'm making up or just is my observation. This is what they're saying. My thoughts on the black male manosphere and the red pill community are similar to many others who believe that it's a necessary space for men to vent, but it isn't perfect by any means. I would be lying if I said that some of the information being shared and the things being said isn't toxic, especially if you read the comment sections of those videos. But from what I've seen, the majority of the information isn't focused on that level of toxicity. Like, there really are men teaching other men how to be accountable, how to be better men, and there's more mature men who are trying to now make sure they hone in on that information more so than the toxic aspect of it. Now, personally, I don't subscribe to the red pill philosophy because I'm a man who has been married for 19 years as of the recording of this video, and I advocate for marriage, but in a realistic way with the pros and cons, none of this fairy tale nonsense. Like, I do ask deeper questions to say, is this something you really want to do and you really want to get into? While in the red pill space, many believe that marriage isn't in a best man's interest at all, given the current laws, and that it's best to just have a long-term relationship without the government or courts involved. Finally, I have noticed that the red pill space does focus on women a little too much for content, but I understand because it gets the most views. If the videos on improvement, finance, and being your best got more views than drama, things would look a lot differently on social media. But I understand, having seen both sides focus on the worst of the community. It just makes me a little sad seeing all of this back and forth, which I will address in my last video concerning this nonsense. I have a feeling I might be getting myself in trouble with our kings and queens with my current outlook on the status of the kingdom, but we'll see how that actually plays out. But that's all I have for you all. That's my thoughts on the red pill and the manosphere. Like, I don't believe the whole thing is toxic, but I do believe that there are, and have seen and witnessed, there are toxic people and elements within it. You can tell the difference from those who are just trolling, those who are your incels, those who are stuck in what they call the red pill rage, where they do show hatred for women and they do say the most absurd things you can possibly see. But having seen this beef and having seen the other side with the ladies, it's just as bad. But like I said, I'll address that in the last video. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave any respectful comments in the comment section below. And that's it. So as always, be wise. And until I see you all next time, have a great day.